The Queen truly had a global impact, even here in the Lone Star State.
Yeah, KLBK's Jaxie Pigeon spoke with a Texas Tech professor who are experts on British history and explains the enormous impact of her passing. Jaxie?
That's right. The British history professors I spoke with say a lot of Americans will be saddened by her passing, given many have not lived in a world where she wasn't queen. For 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II reigned over the United Kingdom and 14 Commonwealth realms. Being the longest reigning monarch allowed her to have a worldwide impact. Dr. Daniela McCahey is a modern Britain professor at Tech who was in Europe when she heard the news.
When people in the 1950s were talking about the Queen, it's still the same one that it was on the throne now. And so to a certain extent, this is the end of an era.
Dr. Abigail Swingen is also a history professor at Tech who says many Americans care deeply about the monarchy.
One thing that's always sort of fascinated me is how Americans are really into the British monarchy. I think one of the things about Queen Elizabeth II that what made a lot of people admire her was her apparent steady hand, her apparent stability in the wake of all sorts of sort of staggering changes taking place in the 20th century.
The Queen traveled more than any other monarch, making 6 trips to the U.S. during her reign, and even spending a few days in major cities here in Texas back in 1991.
It's kind of interesting that a sovereign of another nation not necessarily would visit the United States, but would choose Texas. And so I think that obviously says a lot about the kind of person she was, I suppose, and also, the state of politics in the early 90s.
And Dr. McCahey says it will be interesting for her and her students to see if there will be any major geopolitical changes from her passing.
It's going to affect a lot of the students in our programs who study history, who study literature, who study politics, because some way or another, our political landscape is going to shift as sort of fallout from her death.
And with the end of an era comes change. Dr. McCahey says some of those changes are issuing new money and stamps. With her passing, even the national anthem is different now. It's no longer God Save the Queen, it's God Save the King. These are all things that many are still trying to process.
Yes, indeed, Jaxie. Thank you for that.